Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, word to my brethren in Houston, Texas. So speaking of Houston, Texas, let's talk about Houston, Texas native Marlen Esparza. Yes, she is the first women's boxer in the boxing prospect review playlist. So shout out to her. She should be honored that she's made history here on True School Sports, being the first woman to be reviewed in the prospect review section. And I just made a video about Marlen Esparza and how I think she should fight Sinisa Estrada. So go check that out if you haven't already. But as far as Marlen Esparza, I had a chance, and I had a chance to go back and watch her most recent fight against Mrs. Carla Valenzuela, who was 3-16-3 with one knockout on the Golden Boy card. And it's funny because I watched Marlene's fight against Rachel Sassoff, and the fight, Rachel Sassoff didn't offer her any resistance, so she didn't have to really dig too deep into her skill set to have to beat Rachel Sassoff. But when she fought Carla Valenzuela, this was a girl who, despite her being 3-16, she was tougher than the record would indicate. And Marlen came into this fight and she had to dig. She stayed in the pocket a little more. We got to see a little bit more of her skills in the pocket. And one thing I took away from it, because I do know that Marlen works with Andre Ward, and she trained in that gym in Hayward, California, with Andre Ward and Virgil Hunter and all the people that work out there. So I watched her fight, and I was like, she fights kind of like Andre Ward. Like she doesn't do the holding as much as Andre Ward. Like she doesn't hold as much as Andre Ward. She's not hitting you behind the head like Andre Ward, but she fights like him. Certain things she does that just remind me of Ward. Like she'll come forward, and when she delivers a body shot, like she'll hit you like kind of you know on your quads. She's coming in with her head. She came with her head many times. So, for what she doesn't have in punching power, for what Marlen Esparza doesn't have in punching power, she has in grit, dirty veteran tactics, and that's what she took from Andre Ward. So, overall, like, what do I think about her? She's only had 4 fights, not against very good opposition. I mean, I think her 4 opponents combined only have what 11. Wait, no, 13 wins and what 23, 26, 28. So 13 wins and 28 losses. She's not fighting a murder drill of fighters. And ultimately, it's her situation is kind of funny because the only real fight for her out there that I know would sell, makes business sense, would be Sinisa Estrada. But that it might be too early for her to take that at this point in her career. And the other ironic thing is the only other formidable opponent that she has is Nicola Adams. But Nicola Adams is her partner. They go out and God bless them, but they go out and I don't know what the situation is, but they say they would never fight each other because they're partners. So she doesn't have a whole lot of opponents. But overall, as a fighter, obviously to be a Olympian as she was. And some people will even say that I don't get when people say, oh yeah, she was the face of the Olympic team, and Clarissa Shields was clearly the best Olympic fighter. I don't buy that BS. Oh, she was the face, because I heard Golden Boy say that. That's a crock. She's a good fighter, but to be on an Olympic team, obviously she has a good jab. She has good fundamentals. You see her when she's pumping that jab out there. It comes from a good place. It comes from an educated place. It comes from a place where she's setting up to land her next punch, whether it be a left hook, a counter left hook, which she likes to throw a lot, and she's very accurate with it, or a straight right hand. And I will definitely say that since the Sassoff fight, regardless of the opposition, she seems to be getting more comfortable in the pro rank. She seems to be able to getting slightly more leverage on her shot. Still needs to work on it a little bit. She's turning her punches over a lot better. And she hasn't scored a knockout yet, and I don't think she's ever going to be a big knockout puncher, but I think she kind of has what I like to call the Bernard Hopkins factor, which means that, like, Bernard Hopkins, when he moved up in weight, right? When Bernard moved up in weight, Bernard wasn't this big, massive puncher. Bernard wasn't like knocking dudes out with one punch. But in many ways, it played to his advantage because he was still strong enough to hurt you. So he wouldn't knock you out, but he didn't knock you out, but he beat you up. And sometimes it's just better to get knocked out than get beat up. So Marlen has that factor. And when she does fight Sinisa Estrada, it's something that could play to her advantage if the fight does happen. Like, Sinisa can hang in the pocket, and she's very tough and she's very fast. But Marlen, with with I would say more conventional skills, maybe more a little bit more dog in her in the pocket. That's where her advantage is. So, what's her stealing in boxing? I mean, my thing is like the big fight for her is Denise Estrada, right? There's no doubt about it. And then she's not gonna fight Nicola Adams because they're partners, they're going out, whatever. Gay marriage is legal now, so they're partners. They're not gonna fight. So her ceiling for me is like she's gonna be a world champion at some point. Like being a world champion in women's boxing doesn't mean as much unless you're undisputed because the talent pool is as much. So if you're truly a great fighter in women's boxing, you gotta go undisputed. Can't she go undisputed? I don't know. I really don't know if she's going to because of the fact that I don't think she can beat Denise Estrada. But I think from what I saw because I've watched I've had a chance to watch the Sassa. I watched the Sassa fight live when it happened. And then I watched the Carla Valenzuela fight, and then I didn't watch 2 fights in between, so I got to go watch those. And I watched a couple of amateur fights, and she's getting better as far as sitting down on the shots, turning them over a little bit more effectively. And as much as I don't like Andre Ward, using the Andre Ward dirty tactics may suit her. For what she doesn't have punching power, she can make up in that regard, and she can kind of be like in many ways, no disrespect, but she can kind of be like a fake ass Bernard Hopkins or a fake ass Andre Ward. And it'll work for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? So her stealing is being a world champion for me. As far as being undisputed, that all depends. It depends what kind of approach she's going to take with her career. Either she's going to go for that or she's going to move up, which I'm not sure if that's in her plans. To be quite honest with you, I think that probably will be in her plans because I do know there was one fight where Marlen failed to make the weight. And no disrespect to her, but she looks kind of chunky around the sides at times. That's just my opinion. But she's a good fighter. She's got good fundamentals. She's improving her turning over. Her fundamental, not just her fundamentals, but I'm saying she's fine tuning her fundamentals and suiting them for the pro game, which is like I think is good for her, and it's gonna give her a better chance against Denise Estrada and whoever else they decide to put in front of her. So. As far as Marlen, man, I think she's a good fighter. She's got potential to be a great fighter, but she's got to continue improving, which I'm sure she will, because she made the Olympic team. She has good skills, and overall, I still think there's a couple levels she can get to in the sport. So that's just my opinion of Marlen. That's my review of her 4-0. No KOs yet, but don't be surprised if she scores one soon because she's getting better with her fundamentals and whatnot. But that's my opinion. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below about Marlen Esparza. What's her ceiling? What do you think of her as a fighter? I mean, I know some dudes might say, "Oh man, she's fine." Like I think I want to take her out on a date and take her to McDonald's and the movies. No, don't tell me that. Tell me what you think of her as a fighter if you've seen her fight. If not, don't say anything. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. Follow True School Sports on Instagram at True School Sports. Like I always say in every video, I'm Brendan Taylor, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. And that's Dania in South Florida, in case you didn't know. So until next time, take care, guys.